We're back with Hollywood of Babylon. The new Garbo signed a 7-year contract. Her name is Frances Farmer. I'm reading it right now as I'm recording. This girl, Saint should not be in her damn name. Check this out. Paramount gave her a 7-year contract, and they gave her out to a whole bunch of different studios. Everybody was making money off this young lady for acting and stuff. They said that she would have been like a method actress. Now, you do not want to date a method actor or actresses. Those are the ones that when they take their role, regardless of what their role playing, they stay in character until the movie's filmed. So they could be in character for like a year or 2 years. Whatever personality they decide to take the role on, that is them and that is their character. And that's why they say a lot of times people start acting kooky, like Ariana Grande. They got to be whatever personality that is portrayed on the screen, and so they lose their identity. Anyway, that is a completely different story. She played in Chekhov. These are classics if you look it up. She's done dozens of films, and some of them she was opposite Bing Crosby for Rhythm on the Range. I'm sorry. Every time I think of Bing Crosby I'm thinking of that Christmas song, and he's like, I really gotta go. I don't care what y'all say. I still like the song. Side by Side, she played with Martha Raye and Bob Burns and his bazooka. She played Come and Get It, Son and Fury, with Tyrone Power, Ebb Tide, and Ray Milland. The Toast of New York with Cary Grant, and a bunch of others. Anyway, so she was often quoted saying she hates everything about Hollywood except the money, darling. So your girl picked up a habit and she started drinking a lot. She was heartbroken, as she would put it. But your girl hated the police. So one night, October 19, 1942, she is charged with drunk driving without a license. And also, she had her highlights on in a dim, out-of-zone highway coast. I guess they had those. Me? I need to see. Anyway, so the police pulled her over, and she started throwing out hostility phrases, and she was just F-U's and all of that. So they took her to jail. They gave her 180 days of probation. Of course, she got the famous lawyer that we talked about in the previous one. His name was Jerry Geisler. I told you this is Hollywood's lawyers. He can get rid of anything sometimes. So anyway, not long after she was arrested, she's up in a hotel acting amok. Now, I guess she must have had a fling with a guy and things went wrong. Anyway, she's loud, stuff flinging around the hotel room. They called the cops. And she dislocated her hairdresser's jaw. She lost her sweater in the nightclub, in a whole nightclub brawl. And she went streaking up and down Sunset Strip with no shirt on. So the cops come, they knocking on her door in the hotel. She ain't answering, right? So they went downstairs and they get the key to get in the damn hotel room because they're like, oh, nah, this girl, we got to get her. She is amok. They already know she's trouble. And so they go in with their guns and their handcuffs ready. She went to the bathroom. The cops had to break down the door to get to this girl. Now, the girl, she don't have no damn clothes on. However, she put up such a fight that they drug her ass out naked through the lobby, down the hotel. Yo, this gotta be embarrassing. She's one of Hollywood's top leading lady, and she is being dragged out nude as the day she was born. So now they get back to the precinct. And, I guess she had to fill out forms and stuff like that and sign, the forms. So she signed for her occupation, cocksucker. So now on the way to court, there's a whole bunch of photographers there, the media, of course. And she's like, rats, darling, rats. And she's yelling to the reporters and stuff like that. And the judge asked her, ma'am, how did you lose your whole sweater in a club room? And matter of fact, how much do you drink? And her response was, listen, I put liquor in my milk. I put it in my coffee. I put it in my orange juice. What do you want me to do, starve? I drink everything I can get, including Benzedrine. The judge was so pissed off. They was like, he was beat red. And he was like, listen, 180 day sentence. And now she's pissed and she's crying. And she's like, listen, I'm heartbroken, So after she done acted a fool in the courtroom, they denied her a phone call. So she starts springing at the policewoman. Back then they called the policewoman a matron. They had to wear little dresses and stuff like that in the pocketbook. and for a policeman. She just starts swinging at them. They put her ass in a straitjacket and put her in the cell. So she was in the middle of shooting a movie, and Monogram Pictures, they did not respond to her. Instead, they replaced her with Mary Bryan as the lead for the movie No Escape. So now get this. Her mother decides she's going to get this media attention too. Now, they said her mother never even cared for this girl. So this may be where her problem started anyway. So Miss Lillian B. Farmer, who they said she never wanted a child anyway, she gonna sit there and tell the reporters, this is only a publicity stunt. It's to give her real experience in a clink. You see, she was a method actress. You see what I mean? They may be planning a picture for her with jail scenes in it. This way it can give her a performance based on actual experience. That's what her mama said. So then the mother goes to Hollywood and she decides to declare her daughter mentally incompetent, and she signed papers to have her committed. They shoved her into a private sanitarium. They gave her daily insulin shock treatments. Let's not forget that this is what they were doing back then. They were giving them inhumane treatments. They gave this to her for 3 months. Mind you, this treatment now has been discredited. So after 10 years of utter hell, she literally went insane. In 1944, she was confined to the state loony bin. They said that she suffered from the worst treatment anybody that had a screen personality ever endured. She had straitjackets, leather straps. They were actually, y'all know what I'm saying, assaulting her in there by the guards. They called her Hollywood troublemaker. So a lot of them, they were glad to even be rid of her. William Wyler, he once went on record saying, the nicest thing I can say about Frances Farmer is that she is unbearable. So they're saying that pretty much something that was a traffic violation while on probation, the girl, instead of getting her the help that she needed because she was drinking excessively and too much and heartbroken and stuff like that. And yes, she did have an attitude problem. However, the fact that it led to her having a straitjacket and shock and all of this refusing to do stuff, that it just dug a hole. And at the end of the day, she ended up lost in the whole entire system. And then Hollywood sat there and fed her to the wolves, and nobody was there for her, including her mother. So they said Lolly Parson snickered, and she said, Hollywood Cinderella girl has gone back to the ashes on a liquor-slicked highway. All of these are small chapters in the Hollywood Book of Babylon in reference to how a lot of stars was treated and stuff that happened to them. But I am aware that Frances Farmer's story is very serious, and the treatment was drastic, dramatic, and life-changing, and it was awful. So it is bigger than what the few pages of this book has, and I am going to take the time to get to know this a little bit further, and I'm going to actually read the book. Hollywood is getting big and bigger for self-unalivings by sleeping pills. Lupe Vélez was a go-getter teenager. She came from Mexico City to conquer the movies. This guy by the name of Doug Fairbanks spotted her. He gave her a lead opposite on The Got Show. And from there, she was about to be on her way up. They gave her a name called Mexican Spitfire because she was irresistible and she had a fiery temper. Now, affairs she did have. Her first affair in Hollywood was with John Gilbert. She played opposite her co-star in Garbo. In 1929, she had an affair with her opposite in Wolf Song leading man's Gary Cooper. They said that their affair was completely wild. However, eventually, Coop was done. He was tired. They said he begged to get out. He was tired of her throwing temper tantrums all over the place. Then she went to Johnny Westmuller, who played Tarzan. Get this. Your chick could not understand why Johnny was so upset with her, because every time she would go to the Hollywood party, she felt the need to lift up her dress and flash everybody. Now, they said that she wasn't even wearing any kind of lingerie. So you understand, she was completely in her birthday suit. Without the suit, they would be livid. They would be yelling all the way home. The neighbors was pissed off. Now, Hedda, I told you about her. She wrote for the newspaper column, and she lived right across the street. They said the most public argument was the night of C Rose, when Johnny tossed a table filled with food. They said he threw it at her kitty cat, like the whole table. I mean, they were going at it. She would have marks on her stomach. And the way they describe it, it's like, they said strawberry hickeys on her throat. Y'all know what that meant. This was not erotic. It was not hickeys. They were fighting up in his place. So you use your imagination. He'd get scratches all over his back. They said that they had to apply a lot of makeup every time he came. They said he had bites all over himself, scratches all over himself. They were like, it is a love-hate relationship. So they said it was just passion. Good or bad? Bad and good. They had definitely married and they finally got a divorce. And when they got a divorce, they said Lupe had a whole bunch of brief relationships. They didn't last long. She had cowboy stuntmen, He-Man hangers. I don't know what that is. Professional older women, studs. I mean, not just any studs. Studs who were gigolos. She quickly went from A-list to a B-list celebrity. Even though she had a big name, as she lessened her value, she started paying men to be with her. She started paying for love. And I don't mean like intercourse and stuff like that, but you know what I mean, like buying a man. And then one day she got pregnant. Harold Raymond was her latest. Okay, so this is like trigger alert for real. So she's pregnant at 36 years old. And, she didn't want to call the doctor they usually call when they want to get rid of something. No. She was tired. She missed her husband, Johnny, who didn't want her because, she would party and want to show everything to everybody and the fighting and stuff like that, even though it was toxic as hell. She decides she is in this mansion and, she started paying for attention. She was drowning in debt. She owed everybody, but nobody knew. Her name was still good in these streets. So she decides she's done being tormented by her life. And she starts ordering flowers, all kinds of flowers. She ordered all her Mexican delight dishes. She ordered a chariot. And she signed for everything. She signed, but she knew she was never going to pay this bill. She planned her last night, had a whole bunch of tequila sunrise. Her mortgage was overdue. So she decides she's going to get this big event planned and she's going to have this big wedding. She told Harold Raymond, the person whose baby she was believed to be carrying, she asked him to marry her. And he said, I would only marry you if you sign a paper and say that the only reason I'm marrying you is that so you can provide for our child, then I will. And she had agreed to that. So she invited the party with all her big friends and everything. She even told the reporter, Lolly, that she can come and get the scoop for the wedding. It's funny because Luella, she did not know how to spell this man's name. She was like, I don't even know, but who cares? She invited her best friends. So so the morning of at 3 a.m., she found herself alone. She did have one last supper with her friends and where she confessed. This was supposed to be the day before everything. I'm tired of life. I have to fight for everything. I'm so tired of it all. Ever since I was a baby in Mexico, I've been fighting. It was against her belief to take out her unborn. So she decides she's just done with everything else. In her bedroom, she had a whole chapel set up in her bedroom, flowers, candles everywhere. And she penciled a note to Howard, may God forgive you and forgive me too, but I prefer, not to be here before bringing shame. And then on the back of the sheet, she wrote in a pencil as an afterthought, how could you, Harold, fake such a great love? You know how people be faking like they in love and all this stuff, and then you show up with a baby and they don't know you. When all the time you didn't want us. I see no other way out for me. So goodbye and good luck to you. She took 75 of those things that we were talking about in the beginning of the story, and she had a nice gown, makeup and everything done. So when Juanita, the chambermaid, had opened the bedroom door at 9 o'clock in the morning, no Lupe in sight. The bed was empty, the aroma of the scented candles. So she created a whole scene. She had a crucifix up in there. She had flowers all over the bed. She had a perfect gown and everything. She was be looking like a darling. And apparently her body had a bad reaction to the pills. She wasn't even in the bed. She had made a trail to the bathroom and found herself slumped over in toilet water. Apparently she had a bad reaction to all of that stuff, and her body, she tried to go to the bathroom where she slipped and fell. And that is the end of that portion of the story. Hey guys, I'm telling you right now, Hollywood is not all glitz and glams and peaches and cream. However, I am continuing on with the Hollywood of Babylon, so stay tuned for next week. Hit that like, comment, and subscribe button to show your support to me. It doesn't cost anything. I love you guys. And if you missed anything, go to the playlist Hollywood Babylon and enjoy your week.